Seniors, if you keep waking up at 3 in the morning without any clear reason, it means your brain is pulling an emergency alarm. The body does not wake itself for no purpose at the deepest stage of sleep. At 3 a.m., the brain, heart, and nervous system are supposed to be in full repair mode, restoring balance, clearing toxins, and stabilizing vital functions. When the brain suddenly forces the body awake at that exact hour, it is reacting to a threat signal. I see this pattern over and over in older patients, and the medical truth is simple. Something inside the body has reached a level the brain interprets as danger. It can be a stress surge, a blood sugar drop, an oxygen change, or a hormone imbalance. But the result is the same. The brain cuts your sleep and wakes you up to protect you. Major sleep studies now confirm that repeated 3 a.m. awakenings are linked to inflammation spikes, memory decline, oxygen instability, and faster aging of the nervous system. If you are experiencing this, do not brush it off and do not blame random age or habit. In this video, we will reveal the 6 real reasons the brain keeps snapping older adults awake at 3 a.m. and how to correct the root cause. And stick around, because reason number 2 can quietly damage brain health and destroy deep sleep if you ignore it. A reference note is in the description below for those who want to check the research in more detail. Before we dive in, here's a question for you. Tell me your age and country and whether these 3 a.m. wake-ups are happening to you, because I am reading and replying to every comment to help as many viewers as possible. Now, without any further delay, let us begin with number 6 in our countdown, and it is the first internal trigger that snaps the brain into emergency mode and wakes the body at the same hour each night. Number 6. Reason number 6. Your bladder has become an overeager alarm clock. Starting with the most obvious culprit, nocturia, which is just a fancy medical term for needing to pee at night, affects nearly 65% of adults over 50. But here's where it gets interesting. Your kidneys don't just randomly decide to produce more urine at night as you age. What's actually happening is that your body's production of a hormone called vasopressin, which normally tells your kidneys to slow down urine production during sleep, starts declining after age 40. This means your kidneys keep working at daytime levels even when you're trying to sleep. But wait, there's more to this story. During the day, gravity pulls fluid down into your legs and feet, especially if you sit or stand a lot. When you lie down at night, all that fluid redistributes back into your bloodstream, and your kidneys go into overdrive trying to process it. This is why you might notice your ankles look puffy during the day, but normal in the morning. The solution isn't just drinking less water before bed, though that helps. The real game changer is elevating your legs for 30 minutes before bedtime, ideally around 8 or 9 p.m. Put your feet up on a pillow or ottoman while watching TV or reading, and let gravity help move that fluid back into circulation while you're still awake. Also, try to get your main hydration in before 6 p.m. Then just sip small amounts if you're thirsty later. Adding foods rich in magnesium like pumpkin seeds, spinach, and dark chocolate to your dinner can help regulate vasopressin production naturally. Some people find that a small handful of walnuts before bed, about 7 to 10 nuts, can actually help reduce nighttime urination because they contain natural compounds that support bladder muscle control. The timing of any diuretic medications matters too, so if you take blood pressure meds or other drugs that increase urination, talk to your doctor about taking them earlier in the day rather than at night. Your sleep is about to get worse before it gets better, because the next reason involves your bedroom temperature doing something completely unexpected. Number 5, your internal thermostat is throwing a midnight tantrum. Your body temperature naturally drops by about 2 degrees Fahrenheit during sleep, but as you age, this temperature regulation system starts glitching like an old thermostat that can't quite figure out what setting it wants. Research from the Sleep Research Society found that people over 50 have a 30% reduction in their ability to regulate core temperature during sleep, and this hits hardest right around 3 a.m. when your body temperature should be at its lowest point of the night. What happens is your hypothalamus, the brain region that controls temperature, becomes less sensitive to temperature changes as you age. This means your body might suddenly think it's too hot or too cold and jolt you awake to fix the problem. Women going through menopause know this all too well with hot flashes, but men experience it too, just more gradually. The fascinating part is that your body temperature and your sleep hormone melatonin are closely linked, and when one gets disrupted, the other follows suit. The fix for this requires creating what sleep scientists call a thermal comfort zone that works with your body's changing needs throughout the night. Start by setting your bedroom temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which sounds cold, but actually helps your body maintain its natural temperature drop. Use breathable bedding made from natural fibers like cotton or bamboo, rather than synthetic materials that trap heat. Here's a trick most people don't know. Wear socks to bed. It sounds counterintuitive, but warm feet actually help your body release heat more efficiently through vasodilation, which is the widening of blood vessels. About an hour before bed, take a warm shower or bath, not to warm up, but to trigger the cooling response that happens when you get out. Your body temperature drops rapidly after the warm water exposure, mimicking the natural temperature decline that promotes sleep. Keep a fan near your bed, even in winter, because moving air helps regulate temperature better than still air. Some people benefit from using a cooling mattress pad or even keeping a small towel in the freezer to place on their neck if they wake up hot. But temperature is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what your hormones are secretly orchestrating at 3 a.m. Number 4. Melatonin.
Production has hit the biological brakes. Your pineal gland, a tiny pine cone-shaped structure in your brain, starts producing less melatonin after age 40. And by the time you're 60, you're making about half the melatonin you did in your 20s. But here's what most people don't understand about melatonin. It's not just a sleep hormone. It's actually your body's master clock regulator. And when it declines, your entire circadian rhythm shifts earlier. This is why older adults often feel sleepy at 8 p.m. and wake up at 4 a.m., a phenomenon researchers call advanced sleep phase syndrome. The 3 a.m. wake-up happens because your melatonin levels, which should stay elevated until about 5 or 6 a.m., start dropping prematurely. Your brain interprets this drop as a signal that morning is approaching, even though it's still the middle of the night. Making matters worse, the blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs suppresses what little melatonin production you have left, creating a double whammy effect. The solution goes way beyond just taking melatonin supplements, though those can help when used correctly. Start by getting bright light exposure in the morning, ideally within 30 minutes of waking up. Stand outside or by a window for at least 10 minutes, even on cloudy days, because this morning light exposure sets your circadian clock for the entire day. In the evening, dim your lights starting around 8 p.m. and use blue light blocking glasses if you must use screens. These orange-tinted glasses might look silly, but studies show they can increase melatonin production by up to 58%. If you do take melatonin supplements, timing and dose are crucial. Take a small dose, between 0.5 to 1 milligram, about 3 to 4 hours before your desired bedtime, not right before bed like most people do. This mimics your body's natural melatonin release pattern. Foods can help too. Tart cherries are one of the only natural food sources of melatonin, and drinking 8 ounces of tart cherry juice in the early evening can boost your melatonin levels naturally. Pistachios, goji berries, and eggs also contain melatonin, though in smaller amounts. Your body's stress system is about to enter the chat, and it's been secretly planning its 3 a.m. rebellion all day long. Before we continue, smash that like button and subscribe right now. Don't miss the life-changing tips still ahead. Number 3. Cortisol is staging a midnight coup in your bloodstream. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, is supposed to be lowest around midnight and start gradually rising around 4 a.m. to help you wake up naturally.
But as you age, this cortisol rhythm becomes dysregulated, often spiking randomly in the middle of the night, like an overzealous alarm system. A study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that adults over 50 have cortisol spikes that are 40% higher during nighttime hours compared to younger adults. And these spikes hit most commonly between 2 and 4 a.m. What's really happening is that your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, basically your stress response headquarters, becomes hyperactive with age. This means even minor stressors from the day, things you might not even consciously remember worrying about, can trigger a cortisol release hours later while you're sleeping. Your body essentially replays the day's stress in chemical form, and boom, you're wide awake, wondering why you're suddenly thinking about that awkward conversation from last Tuesday. The cortisol surge triggers a cascade of other effects. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure rises, and your liver starts dumping glucose into your bloodstream, all of which make falling back asleep nearly impossible. Managing this midnight cortisol surge requires a two-pronged approach that starts during the day and continues through the night. First, you need to actively lower your cortisol levels in the evening through specific practices. Deep breathing exercises, specifically the 4-7-8 technique, where you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, and exhale for 8, can reduce cortisol levels by up to 23% when practiced for just 5 minutes. Do this around 9 p.m. while sitting comfortably in a quiet space. Adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha, taken in doses of 300 to 600 milligrams with dinner, have been shown to reduce nighttime cortisol spikes significantly. Rhodiola and holy basil work similarly, helping your body adapt to stress more efficiently. Create a worry window between 7 and 7:30 p.m. where you write down anything bothering you and potential solutions. Then, literally close the notebook. This tells your brain you've acknowledged the concerns and they don't need to resurface at 3 a.m. Keep your bedroom slightly cool and completely dark, as both heat and light can trigger cortisol release. If you do wake up, resist the urge to check the time or your phone, as this can trigger an additional cortisol spike. Instead, practice progressive muscle relaxation, starting with your toes and working up to your head, tensing and releasing each muscle group for 5 seconds. The plot thickens as we discover what your liver has been secretly plotting while you thought it was just quietly filtering your blood. Number 2, your liver is running low.
Running a secret night shift operation. Your liver, that incredible 3-pound chemical factory, doesn't clock out when you go to bed. In fact, it ramps up certain operations between 1 and 3 a.m., performing what scientists call hepatic glucose regulation and detoxification processes. As you age, your liver becomes less efficient at regulating blood sugar during these overnight hours, leading to something called the dawn phenomenon that actually starts hours before dawn. Here's the fascinating part. Your liver stores glucose in the form of glycogen during the day, then releases it slowly throughout the night to keep your brain fed while you fast during sleep. But in older adults, this release often becomes erratic, dumping too much glucose at once around 3 a.m. Your body senses this blood sugar spike and releases insulin to deal with it, but this metabolic commotion is often enough to wake you up. You might not feel hungry or thirsty, just suddenly alert and unable to explain why. The liver is also processing the day's toxins during this time, breaking down everything from alcohol to medications to environmental pollutants. And this detoxification process requires significant energy and can create mild inflammation that disrupts sleep. Supporting your liver's nighttime work without the 3 a.m. wake-up call requires strategic eating and supplementation. First, avoid eating large meals within 3 hours of bedtime, as this forces your liver to prioritize digestion over its other nighttime duties.
If you need an evening snack, choose something with both protein and healthy fat, but minimal carbs, like a tablespoon of almond butter or a small piece of cheese with cucumber slices. This provides steady energy without triggering a glucose spike. Milk thistle supplements, taken at a dose of 200 to 400 milligrams with dinner, support liver detoxification pathways and can help regulate overnight glucose release. Adding bitter foods to your dinner like arugula, dandelion greens, or radicchio stimulates bile production and helps your liver process fats more efficiently during the night. Stay hydrated during the day with at least 64 ounces of water, as dehydration makes your liver work harder to filter blood. If you drink alcohol, limit it to one drink and have it with dinner rather than later in the evening, giving your liver time to process it before the critical 1 to 3 a.m. window. Consider taking chromium picolinate, 200 micrograms with dinner, which helps regulate blood sugar and can prevent those midnight glucose spikes. Apple cider vinegar, just 1 tablespoon diluted in water before bed, has been shown to reduce overnight blood sugar rises by up to 6%. Brace yourself for the shocking revelation about what's really happening in your cells at 3 a.m. that has researchers completely rethinking everything we know about aging and sleep. Number 1, your circadian gene expression is literally rewriting your cellular clock. This is where things get genuinely mind-blowing and slightly scary. Scientists at Harvard Medical School discovered that as we age, our cellular clocks, controlled by genes with names like clock, BMAL1, and PR2, start expressing themselves at the wrong times, creating what researchers call circadian misalignment. These genes control over 40% of all your other genes' activities, influencing everything from metabolism to immune function to DNA repair. The shocking part is that this misalignment peaks around 3 a.m., when these clock genes should be quietly maintaining your sleep, but instead start firing off signals like they think it's noon. Your cells literally get confused about what time it is, triggering a cascade of metabolic activities that should happen during waking hours. This cellular confusion increases inflammation markers by up to 50% and disrupts the production of growth hormone, which normally peaks during deep sleep. The study that really opened researchers' eyes showed that people with severe circadian gene disruption had a 47% higher risk of developing metabolic syndrome, including diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. What's happening at 3 a.m. is essentially your body running daytime programs on your nighttime operating system, like trying to run incompatible software that crashes your entire system. The proteins these genes produce accumulate incorrectly, creating cellular stress that your aging cells struggle to clear. This explains why the 3 a.m. awakening often comes with that weird feeling of being simultaneously exhausted but wide awake, because your cells are literally receiving mixed signals about whether it's time to sleep or be active. Realigning your circadian genes requires a comprehensive approach that goes beyond typical sleep hygiene. Time-restricted eating is crucial here, and research shows that keeping all your eating within a 10 to 12-hour window can help reset these genetic clocks. For example, if you eat breakfast at 7 a.m., finish dinner by 7 p.m. at the latest. This fasting period allows your clock genes to properly cycle through their expression patterns without interference from digestive processes. Red light therapy, using a device that emits light at 660 to 850 nanometers for 10 to 20 minutes in the evening, has been shown to help regulate clock gene expression. Exercise timing matters enormously too. Moderate exercise between 4 and 7 p.m. helps synchronize your peripheral clocks in muscle and fat tissue with your central clock in the brain. Even a 20-minute walk during this window can make a difference. Supplement with nicotinamide RB or nicotinamide mononucleotide NMN, precursors to NAD+, that decline with age. Taking 300 milligrams of RN in the morning helps support the cellular processes these clock genes control. Quercetin, found in onions, apples, and capers, or taken as a 500 milligram supplement with breakfast, helps regulate clock gene expression. Perhaps most importantly, maintain strict light-dark cycles. Your circadian genes respond powerfully to light signals, so expose yourself to bright light during the day and complete darkness at night. Install blackout curtains and cover any LED lights in your bedroom, as even tiny amounts of light can disrupt genetic expression patterns. Some researchers recommend wearing an eye mask to ensure complete darkness. Grounding, or earthing, which involves direct skin contact with the Earth's surface, has preliminary research suggesting it may help regulate circadian gene expression. Try walking barefoot on grass or sand for 15 minutes daily, preferably in the morning sunlight. The truth about waking at 3 a.m. isn't just about getting older or having a weak bladder. It's about your entire biological system trying to adapt to a modern world that your ancient genes weren't designed for. From your confused cellular clocks to your rebellious liver, to your midnight cortisol surges to your temperature regulation gone haywire, these 3 a.m. wake-ups are your body's way of telling you that something needs attention. The good news is that understanding these mechanisms gives you the power to work with your body instead of against it. Start with 1 or 2 strategies from each category and gradually build your nighttime recovery protocol. Your 3 a.m. wake-up might feel like a curse right now, but consider it your body's early warning system, giving you the chance to make changes that will impact not just your sleep, but your entire health trajectory as you age. If you have any questions or want to share your personal experience, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. We're always listening. Thanks for watching.